Hey there, we're Luke and Alysha, and this is our 23-foot Class C RV. It's a 2016 Adventurer made by ALP, and last year we took it all the way to the eastern point of Newfoundland and back. This year we're currently doing the Pacific West, and we're currently RVing Vancouver Island right now.
So we wanted to give you an updated RV tour today because it's actually fully packed and loaded for full-time RV living. We've also made some changes along the way. We learned some things last year, made some changes and modifications, so we'll show you those today as well.
With all that being said, let's jump onto the inside and then we'll do the outside and some outside modifications after.
Alright cutie, it's RV tour time, you ready? Alright, so welcome to our RV. So this is the size of our RV when the slide is all the way in. The dinette and the wardrobe are actually on a slide out, so I mean the amount of room in here is pretty okay with the slide in, but definitely a lot better when the slide goes out. So let's go and do that right now so we can start the RV tour the right way. Alright, and just at the press of a button, look at how much more space we have in here. The slide out really doesn't go that far on the outside. It actually doesn't even pass our mirrors, like our side mirrors on the RV. So it's really not intrusive at all, but it just gives us so much more room and more room for people to walk by each other and that type of thing. Okay, so we'll start the RV tour here when you first walk into the door. Right on your left is the control panel, which you can check like your fresh water tank levels, your black water tank, gray water tank, and your battery, but we actually don't use this method to check our battery levels. We'll show you that in a minute here. Also here are your switches for like your water pump and your hot water heater as well, and also the start button for the generator. So working around this way is our kitchen. So we've got a 2-burner gas stove here, and above it of course is our exhaust hood. And then we do have a convection microwave in the unit. We actually don't have an oven. So that means more storage space down here and a dual purpose oven / microwave up here, which is a really good bonus I find. And then of course you can't be running the microwave or convection oven when you're not hooked up to power or running the generator, so that's one thing to keep in mind as well. So for storage in the kitchen, we actually have quite a bit here. So we've got our first drawer, which we have all of our utensils and cooking utensils. The second drawer is actually just more cooking utensils and measuring cups, things like that. And then in the bottom here we have all of our dishes and cups. And then up in this cupboard here, last year we did have our espresso machine in here, but we decided to take that out and replace it with some storage just because it wasn't completely ideal to be running the generator every time we wanted a coffee. As much as we loved our espresso machine, it was just time to get rid of it. So in here, we just got all of our pot and pan storage and our kettle and our new French press, which we use for coffee now. And then also a blender, which is convenient as well. And just below the sink here, we have a lot more storage, which is really nice. So first of all, this compartment here has our hot water heater. And then we've got just our cleaning supplies, our garbage down here, our dish rack, just random everyday stuff. But as well, we've mounted our 1000 watt inverter, which is an absolute lifesaver for us because it gives us power when we're not hooked into power or running the generator. And moving along, we've got our refrigerator. So this is a pretty decent sized refrigerator. In some Class Bs, I know they have maybe, I don't know, this size of fridge, and I don't even know if they have a freezer honestly, but it's really nice to have this huge fridge and huge freezer for when we're on the road. So our fridge here has the option of running on propane or electricity. So when we're hooked up, of course we have it switched over to electric, but when we're on the go, which we are most of the time, it's running off propane. So right across from our kitchen area is our dinette area. So this table collapses down into a bed, so it does sleep 1, maybe 2 additional people. It is quite a small bed, but it is still there. And then right above it here, we've got all of our food storage. So we've got 3 different compartments all stacked full of food, and that's where we store everything that's not stored in the fridge. It's nice too, this dinette also has 4 additional seat belts. So there's 2 shoulder seat belts on this side of the dinette and 2 lap belts on this side. So you could have a total of 6 people riding around this RV, which is pretty cool. And below the dinette seats, there's actually even more storage in the RV. So in this one here, we just have a bunch of extra kitchen stuff. And in this one, we've got all of our shoes. So it's really nice and handy to have our door and then our shoe bin here, so we can just throw our shoes in here instead of having them be all over the front entryway. So in between the kitchen and the dinette here, we actually have this skylight. So this is probably one of my favorite things about our RV because it really lets in a lot of light in here. It's not a clear skylight, it's just white. So it just catches all the sunshine and really like brightens up this whole area, which is really nice to live in. And if you wanted to take like a nap or something, or I don't know, you're just not a fan of the sunlight, you can actually close it off and it's not so bright. So one of the upgrades we've made to this RV is our charging center. So when we got the RV, it did come with, I think, 4 different USB charging outlets, but none of them actually worked. So with my dad's help, we actually upgraded it to this setup here. So we did leave 2 of the USB charging spots here, but we changed one of the USB spots to actually a 12-volt plug-in, which we plug in this MotoMaster voltmeter. So this is what we actually use to check our battery levels instead of using that 3-light system on the control panel there at the front door. So this actually tells us a digital reading of what the battery's at right now, which is really, really handy, and we would highly recommend this for any rig that doesn't have a digital reading for your battery. And right beside it here, we actually installed a brand new 12-volt outlet, which we actually use to charge all of our electronics. So in the 12-volt outlet, we have a little 75-watt little car inverter, and plugged into that, we have a USB charging hub, which is actually in our wardrobe. So let's hop back there and check that out. Alright, so on the side here, I've actually mounted the USB charging hub, so it charges 6 different things all at once. So when all 6 outlets are charging at max capacity, it's using 60 watts of power, which is about 5 amp hours of power usage. So it may seem like a lot, but we have so much tech and so many things to be charging that this is seriously a lifesaver. So we actually ordered this 3-tier wire basket thing off of Amazon, and this is what organizes all of our tech and keeps us sane. So last year we had just been storing all of our tech and the wires and stuff that go along with it in a cupboard somewhere. So when we needed to charge something, we had to bring out the wire, bring out the piece of tech that needed to be charged, plug it randomly into the inverter or something like that, and things were just lying around everywhere, and it was a huge hassle to like bring them out and back in and everything, and things were never charged when you wanted them charged. So having it all organized like this and having them constantly plugged in has seriously been a lifesaver for us and was an absolute necessity with all the tech that we have. So in the wardrobe as well, we obviously have all of our hanging clothes and a little basket full of clothes. And then back here we have a basket with all of our laptops and things like that. And then on the back wall here I also hanged a little laundry bag. So it's always there, it's always hanging, and it's really easy to just throw your dirty laundry in there and have it ready to go for the laundromat. Below the big wardrobe area are 3 more drawers full of clothing. So that's really handy to have. I mean, we have tons of space for all of the clothes that we have and really no space issues for us. Alright, so right behind the wardrobe here is our bathroom. So honestly, our bathroom is a little tight. It does have a door here which just kind of slides away here. So definitely only room for 1 person in here. You don't want to be sharing the bathroom like brushing teeth or getting ready in the morning or anything like that. But it is what it is. I'd rather have a small bathroom and more space outside than a huge bathroom and no space outside. So first things first, in the bathroom is the shower area. So one thing I really love about the shower is it does have a sunlight as well. So it does let in a lot of natural light into the bathroom, but it also provides a lot of headroom because the sunlight kind of goes like this. So you just have some extra room up there for showering. So we also do have our cat litter in the shower as well. It's a really good spot for us to just kind of put it there, forget that it's there, until of course we have to shower, and then we have to move it out of the shower to use the shower. But it's also really easy to sweep up in there and clean up after her, so definitely a good spot to keep your cat litter. Storage-wise in our bathroom, we do have quite a bit. We have this whole medicine cabinet full of stuff. as well as a little cabinet underneath the sink that has some additional storage there. So one tip I do have about bathroom organization is this year I came up with the brilliant idea to move over to travel bottles. So instead of like storing all of their big shampoo bottles, body wash, everything like that and taking up a lot of space in here, I've just filled up some little travel bottles here and kept them in a little container. It saves us a lot of space in the bathroom because we can just store our big bottles of shampoo down in one of the hatches down below and just keep little bottles up here in the medicine cabinet. And also, if you're at a park or anything that has a shower that you can go to and not use your water in your RV, all you have to do is grab this little bag and take it with you and you're ready to shower. So then right beside our bathroom we have our corner bed here. So this is an RV size queen, so it's a little bit shorter than a regular household queen, but we fit quite comfortably on here, and yeah, it's a really comfy bed now. So this is another upgrade we made this year. We finally purchased an RV mattress topper. The mattress that came with our RV originally was pretty thin. Here, I'll show you. So this was our RV mattress before. It doesn't really have anything to it. It's just foam and there's just plywood underneath. So when you were lying on your side, you could really feel the plywood like digging into your hips. And honestly, it wasn't a comfortable 100 nights of sleeping in the RV last year. So we did buy this mattress topper off of Amazon. It was only like $120 and it's a 3-inch memory foam mattress topper. It seriously makes all the difference. So in the RV area, we actually have even more storage. It's crazy, guys. There's seriously so much storage in this RV. So up here, we have, again, 3 big cupboards and they're all connected to each other and they go really, really deep. So they go all the way to the fridge and all the way to this wall here. So up in this area, we have a lot of really random things. We have like our first aid kit. We have some games that we play together, like crib. We have my painting stuff. Yeah, just a lot of really random things. But we have them all stored in separate baskets so that it's a lot easier to keep things organized and things aren't moving around when you're driving or falling out on you when you open the cupboard doors. So behind me here as well, we have 2 more lights. They're just these wall lights here, but they actually came with incandescent bulbs in them and we haven't switched them over to LED yet, so we actually don't use them at all because they use way too much power. And then right over here on this wall as well, we have our RV thermostat, which controls our propane furnace as well as our RV air conditioner. And the last thing in our bed area is our fan up here. So it's a pretty powerful fan and it's really nice to have to obviously vent out the RV. And it has a little cover on top on the roof so no rain can get in, so you can run it anytime you want. Alright, and last but not least is our cab area. So above the cab here we have the little Class C bunk. This actually does fold up and you can fold it up all the way over top there if you want to get into the cab, but we usually just leave this down. And this area we've kind of just dedicated to our cat. So she has her cat scratching post up there, as well as sometimes we'll put a tunnel up here for her to play in. Usually if she has cat toys, they're up there for her to play with. And yeah, she always goes up here when we drive as well, and she'll normally like rest up here and look out the window while we're driving, which is pretty cute. So last year we also did install a TV mount on the wall here. So every once in a while we'll steal this spot from our cat and have a little movie night and plug our phone in, watch some TV. It's a really nice spot to kind of hang out. One other cool thing about this bunk area is it has these kind of built-in pillows into this wood piece here. And the pillows actually lift up, and this is where we store like all of our extra blankets, as well as a little curtain that is built to be installed here. So you can have a curtain here at night so people aren't like looking in at you through the windshield, which is a good thing. So this is our cab area. So our chassis is actually a Ford E350 V10 engine, which is actually, I think, fairly common with all Class Cs. Our engine is actually located like just behind this center console area, which does make for a pretty noisy drive actually. We usually have our music cranked right up so that we can actually hear the music over the engine. A nice bonus of this Class C is it actually has a boost button. So just over here beside the steering wheel, if you press this button in, it makes the truck battery be connected to our house batteries. So say the truck battery were to die, you could actually press this in and start your engine using the house battery if your house battery is fully charged. So this boost button can actually get you out of a few sticky situations, which is a bonus. So we also have our stereo system here. It's a touchscreen, but it is very, very basic. We don't have any Bluetooth connection for music on our phones, so we actually have to use an auxiliary cable. And we've also this year installed a dash cam. So that was a gift given to us, which I'm sure will come in handy sometime. Maybe sometime we'll see some wildlife on it, or if we do happen to get into an accident, at least we'll have some proof on our dash cam there, and it might save us in a sticky situation as well. So that's all I really have to show you on the inside of our RV, but we're gonna hop outside now and Luke's gonna show you the whole outside of the RV.
And now for the outside. Bear with us, we are in a very remote section of Vancouver Island right now. We've been out of cell service for 4 days, let alone car washes, so the rig is a little dirty. With that being said though, first thing we're gonna start with here is our battery compartment underneath the stairs. So this just folds on down when you untwist the latches. Our RV came with two 100 amp hour batteries, and we were able to fit one more battery, so we have another 90 amp hour one we bought at Canadian Tire as well in there. That gives us 290 total amp hours. However, you only want to deplete them to about half, so you can call that 145 or so working amp hours, and they fit just right. We even used a bit of boards to kind of fill that space so they don't slide around when we drive, but we did have some questions about how we fit them in, and here they are. Jumping from the batteries, we're gonna hop back here. The first hatch down below, this is where all of our propane and propane accessories are located. Popping this open, you can see our gauge in here. It looks like we're at about a third of a tank worth of propane. We have a 60-liter propane tank. However, when they fill the propane, they only fill it to 80% full. So we only actually get up to about 50 liters of propane in it. That gives a little bit of room for when you're driving or when you're in hot temperatures. Propane actually expands. If you were to fully fill your tank, it could be an explosive hazard technically. Working down from the on-off shut-off valve here, we have a little adapter Alysha's dad has helped us put on. Basically, we can unscrew this guy here, and it gives us access to plugging in an additional hose right into our main propane tank. We have a barbecue and an outdoor fire pit that both run on propane. So normally if you were camping, you'd have to bring one of those big propane tanks you would get at the gas station along with you. This handy little accessory we've added on, this allows us to tap right into the RV tank. And that's actually cheaper than filling up one of the portable tanks as well. Because when you get propane at the gas station for a big tank, they charge you based on the liters, and it's only, I believe, 80 cents a liter right now compared to what it would be to fill up a mobile one. So jumping from the propane, we're gonna hop up to this hatch here. Looks kind of cool. Nothing too crazy going on in here though, however. This is our hot water heater. Just a little bit of electronics. There's an anode here that we take out in winter when we winterize it, but you never actually really go in here when you're RVing. This is just the fridge vent here. Again, never go in here. I don't even think I've ever dabbled in there. Below the fridge, we have the furnace here. Again, just electronics, and this is a little exhaust port. This is where the furnace, it's a propane burning furnace. We don't have to use electric heat or anything, and propane's super efficient, so this is where all the exhaust from the propane heat will come out. This is where you fill your fresh water tanks. So this will be what you use for your sinks, your toilet, your shower, all of that good stuff. Just pops open with a key, nice and easy. And it's literally just a spot you can stick the hose in and fill your tank up. Our small Class C RV holds 30 gallons of water, and that gives us about 4 days worth of usage. That's showering, washing dishes, and all of that good stuff. We have a little experience living on the road last summer as well, but overall 4 days is about a good amount that you can get to the next sandy dump station. Below the fresh water tank filling spot, we also have this outlet here. This is just for household plugging in. You will only have power on this, however, if you either turn the generator on or you're at a campsite that has hookups to house power. With that being said, for power, in the back hatch over here now, we have an extension cord that we've actually run through the hot water tank access and where the water pipes are, and it goes into underneath the sink where our inverter is. So that way we can actually use our inverter. Then when we're not on hookups, we can still use all of our electronics. We use quite a bit, of course, editing on the road, so we can plug the laptop in right here, run the extension cord right to a picnic table, and we can still do all our electronic stuff outside, which is kind of handy. As for inside the hatch itself, we used to have a table here, but it broke on us. We had it a little loaded heavy the first year of travel, and it was kind of an adventure in itself in Newfoundland there, but with the extra space, we now have a few organization bins here. The first bin you see, we have our roadside jack. We have some cones we can put around the RV in case we were to break down, and a few other little mechanical needs. We got our socket sets and tool sets on top of it from there. This little basket has our white hose, which we use for our fresh drinking water. It has our propane extension hose that we can use for the hookup I showed you earlier that runs to our barbecue, and all of that good stuff, and a few other little electronical hookups down there as well. From there, this is all our outside stuff, soccer ball, and all that fun outdoorsy activity stuff we get up to as well. On top of it, this is our little portable barbecue. This one runs on the propane right off of the RV itself. We do have one behind it as well that's a portable butane one though that doesn't require hookups. And then back in there further, we also have our propane little fire ring. We got that as a wedding gift a while back and it works perfect. Again, just runs right off of the RV propane tank, and it's so good to have a little nighttime fire if you don't have access to firewood in a provincial park or something. Or if a fire ban's on, you're still allowed to use that propane. And the propane fire during a fire ban is awesome. And then when we leave a campsite, we also have our mat on the ground we fold up and pack up. It lays across nicely in here. And then we have a 2-person folding chair that also lays right on top of that. Close the hatch and we're packed and ready for the next location. This big hatch also has an access point on the back side of the RV I'll show you now here though. In the back hatch here, you can reach around from the other side. This is my fishing stuff. We have all of our lures and little gifts. Alysha's brother also donated to us, so thank you to him. We have an inflatable kayak we can pump up here and use on the freshwater lakes. And then you might have noticed this sewer pipe just sitting back in the roof. That is not actually plumbing. That's one of my handy dandy little modifications. All of you fishers out there take note. But you can just pop this cap off right here, and then you can slide all of your fishing rods in and out nice and easy. And by having this, my fishing rods don't have to lay around in Alysha's way in the RV like they used to. But also, you can cap it back up and have them safe on the top of the hatch here, which of course protects all the eyelets on the rods. It gives it a little bit extra safety so you don't have to worry about breaking your fishing rods. When we purchased our RV, it originally didn't have a ladder installed on it or any form of awning because it used to be a rental, and I guess that's extra liability for renters. But part of our negotiations in buying it, we got a nice awning I will show you shortly here installed, and also a ladder. I love being up on the roof. You get a great view, you can take great pictures, and you can actually check all of your gaskets and air vents as well. So this was a must for me, and luckily we were able to get both of those installed when we purchased the RV. So to use our awning, it is a manual crank. However, it's nice and easy to use at least. We'll just twist her on out here. And if you notice, the beauty of this kind of awning, it actually has no side arms. It just scissors on out here and supports itself that way. So you don't have to worry about bonking your head, you don't have to duck under it, and it comes out extremely far as well for using the scissor technology. I gotta say, this is probably my favorite awning I've seen on the market, besides maybe if you were to get an electronic one, of course, but honestly, this thing works great for our needs. And voila! For having no sidearm support, look how much coverage you get from the RV. I mean, that's well over 6 feet worth of coverage, completely covers our rug. Definitely a lifesaver to have that on a hot sunny day. Continuing to work around our Class C RV here, it does have a backup camera installed up top there. That makes reversing into campsites so much easier. You only get a field of a view for about this kind of a width, but it's enough that you can see if you're coming up to a curb, if you're getting near a tree. Just having that as well as the side mirrors, honestly, is probably a better replacement than even having a rear view mirror would be for backing up anyways. Hopping around from there, this is where you can plug in a cable for cable TV if you happen to be at a campsite that has one. We have yet to be at a campground that offers that and experienced it ourselves, but some people might find that useful, especially if you're on a pad for winter perhaps. Beside it here, this is a 30 amp plug-in. You can just plug in your electrical cord to here, plug it into the shore power you're getting, and that will give you house power for the RV. Again, we don't use it too much, we're primarily boondockers. Below that here is what people think is the dreaded dirty process of dumping your tanks, but it's actually super easy. All it is a quick twist and pop. That's where you will attach your sewage hose onto. Pull the black tank first. That will dump all your wastewater out from the toilet and everything like that. When you're fully letting it drain out, close the black tank. Open up the gray tank, which is your shower and sink water after, which will be a bit cleaner of course. Let that run through, give the hose a good shake to wash it clean. And just like that, close that. And that's all it takes to dump the tanks and use this little area here. If you hop on up here now, this little black spot, you can thread a hose onto it, which is attached to like a sprinkler head inside of the black tank. Turn that on and it will do the sprinkler flush around. So while you're flushing your black tank, you can have that sprinkler head going around inside there as well. That'll help clean your black tank's walls and just keep it a little more hygienic in there. This guy right here, this is your city water connection. If you're at a park that has water hookups available, same idea. Thread the water hose onto here, preferably a clean water hose, and that will give you access to water inside the house so that it doesn't drain from your fresh tank. You'll get higher pressure on your shower, your sink, the toilet, all of that kind of stuff, and it's super nice to have if you're at a campsite with hookups at least. Inside of this hatch here is a typical outdoor shower. We never use it very much, but the odd time we have used it is perhaps if you have sandy feet or a dirty pet, you could use it for that. When we were clamming in Prince Edward Island last year, we used it to wash all of the sand off our feet, but other than that, we really don't use the outside shower very much on our RV here. Gas tank is on the driver's side here, and this is our slide. Again, it's a 23-foot Class C RV DS, which is a dinette slide. Some have rear slides, but all depends on the model you pick, of course. Hopping over to this outside hatch, we just use it for weights. We have all of our fitness equipment in here. Living on the road full time and kind of doing an RV living lifestyle where we don't go to the gym very much, especially when there's not as many out on Vancouver Island in rural areas boondocking. We have about 100 pounds of plates in there and dumbbells, so it gives us a little bit of access to a workout on the road, and that's one of the additions we did this year that we didn't have last year. So far it's been working out well for us. Below this hatch, this would be a huge storage bay if you had need for anything. I personally just keep our rhinos. This is our sewer hose in here. I just keep the sewer hose in here, pulls out super handy that way. It all collapses back together. You just lower on in like so. And then just like that, it's a nice and easy process to use the dump that way. Pull up, open the cap, open this, hook it up and you're done. Beside it, there is a spot here for storing a sewer hose, but it's a bit of a tight hole, and if you have any adapters that kind of help you connect on your RV sewage pipe, it doesn't slide in there as nicely, so we found that hatch works better for us at least. Hopping back up here now. This is a miscellaneous little storage bay for us. We keep our fresh water in here, paper towel, cat food, any of those big things that we won't use every day and need to restock every day. We also have a booster box in there that we really like though. Basically, we can hook it up to our truck battery. If our truck ever dies, we had it once last year when we were in the middle of nowhere boondocking and our truck battery got drained dead somehow. Saved us having to call a tow truck, saved us a few hours of stressing and money. Definitely recommend having a battery booster box as well, and that's where we keep ours. This is our Cummins Onan 4000. A 3500 model is also super popular and common to see in Class C RVs. But again, this was a must-have for us here. If you don't have a generator, your only ways you can get power is hooking up to your house, being at a campsite with power, or driving around with your alternator running powering your house batteries. Or solar, which we don't have. And when you do as much electronic use as we do, editing and taking photos, using laptops, drones, that kind of stuff, we go through a healthy amount of power. Maybe right now, because we're not driving as much, I bet you we run this at least 1 hour a day. And without having that option, the alternative, like I said, would be honestly driving around in circles. Not a lot of provincial parks actually offer electric hookups. We haven't found any on Vancouver Island so far in this year's travels at least, so if you want to take care of your batteries, you want to keep them above 50%, otherwise you can risk killing your batteries, and to replace all of your batteries could run you $1,000 easy. So having a generator lets you use more power, lets you use the microwave and convection oven if you'd like, and it's definitely a lifesaver for us. One last cool thing to show you on this side of the RV over this way is, there's this small little cap here. Below it says it, but crank handle access. We had it happen to us last year. Your dinette slide comes all the way out, and then if something happens to your power source, or perhaps the wiring, our wires ended up shorting out on us and just stopped working completely. There's an actual crank access ball with a little hand crank that you can manually roll your dinette back in. Of course, you wouldn't want to drive down the road with it out to a mechanic or a repair shop, so thankfully they have that option where you can crank it back in, and then at least you can drive the RV still and get it sorted out later on.
Okay, so that is our completed Class C RV tour. We really hope that you guys enjoyed it and found it useful, and if you did, please give us a like down below. It really does mean a lot to us.
Yeah, and perhaps check out the channel. Like we mentioned earlier, last summer we went all the way across Canada and back to the most eastern point of all of North America. I think we only paid for 6 or 7 camping nights the whole time out of the over 100 days on the road. A whole lot of free camping info, a whole lot of boondocking, and a whole lot of RV adventures. And this summer, we probably have another 100 days or so on the road at least still, I would imagine. So a bunch of RV living content, a bunch of kind of RV hacks and that kind of stuff. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're into that. And we'll see you around otherwise, guys. Take care and safe travels.
See ya.